Good afternoon and welcome to the Historic Green in Old Newcastle. My name is Brian Cunningham. I'm the Director of Communications for your Newcastle County government. Thank you all for joining us for this ceremony. Before we get started with today's speakers, I just want to shout a couple people out who have helped me and help us plan this. First, our friends at the Delaware Historical Society, Rebecca and her friends, and Mike Connolly, Executive Director at the Newcastle Historical Society, and our friends from the state of Delaware who have graciously hosted us today, and also our Newcastle County Public Works team who helps set me up. So we are not only celebrating the 350th anniversary, I think it's the 350th event they've helped me set up this week. So Bud and team, thank you so much. I'd like to take a moment and welcome our friend, the Mayor, Mayor Leary.
Welcome, everyone. As a newly elected mayor of the city of Newcastle, I'm thrilled to be asked to participate in the celebration of the 350th anniversary. I'm so glad you chose the green at the City of Newcastle to hold this event. And this is a wonderful city. We all love it here. We invite you to come here and enjoy our restaurants and our shops and our history. Again, congratulations for the 350th anniversary. And now I'd like to introduce Juliet Verm of the Newcastle Courthouse Museum.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for coming out today to celebrate the county's 350th anniversary here on the historic green here in Newcastle, one of the Division of Historical and Cultural Affairs' many historic sites. Originally laid out by the Dutch as the town common area for their colony of New Amstel, today we of course know it as Newcastle. Newcastle served as the county seat of Newcastle County until 1881 when it moved up to Wilmington. It was here in Newcastle that Delaware declared its independence from Pennsylvania and from King George III in the historic Newcastle Courthouse right over there. It is also from this town that the northern border of the state and the county were drawn. This area was first settled by the Lenape before it was colonized. Claims were made by the Dutch, the Swedes, the British throughout the first few decades of the European arrival. The Dutch took over one last time briefly in 1673 when they incorporated an area that was roughly what today is Newcastle County. And it is through them that we mark today's anniversary. As the British were the final colonial power to claim the land, it is called Newcastle. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Good afternoon. It's great to be here. Matt Meyer, County Executive, here for a happy birthday ceremony. We'll sing in a minute. In honor of Julia, what did you say, New Amstel County? New Amstel was our old name. In honor of New Amstel, I brought out something to drink, and that's called water, because it's hot out here. So for those bartenders, if they're dishing out Amstel Light tonight, I guess it's in honor of our 350th anniversary. Well, excuse me, welcome to everyone here. It's great to see a lot of longtime county employees here, longtime active employees, retired county employees. Judge Cooch, thanks for making the long journey to join us today. Council President, thank you for being here. Of course, Mayor Leary, congratulations. I'm not sure you made it 350 days yet, but 350 hours, yes. Congratulations and thanks for opening up this green. To Juliet, who I know works right here in this courthouse, right? Thanks for what you do every day, preserving the history. It's because of the work of Juliet and her colleagues that we're able to pass down this information from generation to generation and understand the good, the bad, and the ugly about our own history, and therefore help define our future. I also want to acknowledge several people I invited today but were not able to attend. County Executive Rita Justice, County Executive Dennis Greenhouse, County Executive Tom Gordon, Senator, former County Executive Chris Coons, and County Executive Paul Clark, several of whom wanted to be here and for various reasons expressed their apologies. So on paper, today's anniversary might seem a bit arbitrary, a day just in the middle of September that we mark as the 350th anniversary, but in 1673, the Lenape peoples had already lived on this land for thousands of years. The first European settlers, the Swedes, had already established a colony over 30 years prior, and the Dutch and the English had joined them here. So on paper, today may look like we're celebrating arbitrary lines drawn on a map. Lines originally meant to divide land and peoples from one another during a different era, a different time. But today, those lines that define the boundaries of our great state, the first county and the first state, also define our community and define who we are together. Today, New Castle County stands as a land of firsts and the home of some of our greatest achievements. Dr. Henry Heimlich, the namesake of the life-saving Heimlich maneuver, was born in Wilmington. Stephanie Kwolek, the inventor of Kevlar, called our great county home. Annie Jump Cannon, one of the most prolific astronauts in human history, is the namesake of Cannon Hall at the University of Delaware. Countless artists, actors, and athletes, among them, of course, WNBA MVP Elena Deladon, Major League Baseball MVP Paul Goldschmidt, actors Aubrey Plaza, who you can catch every now and then at one of our local libraries, and Ryan Phillip, were all born here in New Castle County and trace their roots back to New Castle County. I imagine many of you are thinking I'm forgetting one person, and that's a former county councilman who's currently the 46th President of the United States, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Today's not about the past. It's about what the next 350 years hold for our community and how we continue to build a county, a state, a country, a community that is accepting, inclusive, and is led by people who look like and share the lived experiences of the communities that we serve. And it's why the policies we pursue collectively with County Council, collectively with the city, the mayor of New Castle, and the state, the policies we pursue and implement now must benefit everyone, not just the loudest voices and not just those who've benefited from our past history. That's why under my leadership we named the first African-American police chief, Colonel Vaughn Bond, and the first African-American chief administrative officer, Vanessa Phillips, in New Castle County history. That's why we've taken historic steps to create new parks and libraries, a paramedic station in underserved areas like Middletown, providing essential services and amenities that improve the quality of life for all residents, working tirelessly to make a historic and extraordinary bike path across Cooch's Bridge land there outside Glasgow Park, connecting Newark and Glasgow Park. And that's why this year we actually also reduced property taxes for all homeowners in New Castle County for the first time in over half a century. I was told that it's the first time in 350 years that county property taxes have been reduced. We haven't gone through every budget for the past 350 years, so we can't say that clearly. But it's a bold step that we're hoping in these challenging times eases the financial burden on our residents and also demonstrates our commitment to making our county an affordable place to live today and tomorrow. When the pandemic struck and COVID-19 upended our economy, forced people from their homes, we purchased one of the largest hotels in our county, a 192-room Sheraton hotel, transformed it into the state's largest emergency and transitional housing center. There are 282 individuals, including 142 children, who slept there last night. We've seen hundreds of families pass through that institution. I venture to say in New Castle County's 350-year history and in the over 100-year history of New Castle County government, that hotel, that Hope Center, is among our proudest accomplishments. So this year, as we commemorate our 350th anniversary, let us remember that our history is not confined to the past. It's being written every day by each one of us, by what you're doing, what we're doing together, the remarkable achievements that we can accomplish together. We're not a series of lines defined by a creek, defined by a couple of people from Sweden and the Netherlands centuries ago. We're not just a wedge in a long dispute over which state got to claim Philadelphia. We're a county of innovators, of artists, of thinkers, of leaders, and discoverers, and our journey is far, far from over. So as your county executive, I'm deeply proud of what we've accomplished together, and I'm excited about what lies ahead. Let's continue to be first in areas that truly matter, not just first in signing the Constitution, but first in the health of our residents, the education of our children, and building a prosperous and inclusive future for all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Council President.
Thank you so much, Matt. Ladies and gentlemen, it is such an honor to be here. I got to tell you, last night when I was writing a resolution that I prepared here today, I fell in love with Newcastle again. This Newcastle is just so amazing. There was so much history. I could fit a little bit into this resolution, but it doesn't begin to tell the story of how we started here. I am so excited that I'll be coming back to the museum to get to more information because I just heard some that I did not find in researching yesterday. So I prepared a resolution that I'll read, and council will be voting on it today, the anniversary of the 350th anniversary. So this is resolution number 23164, recognizing the founding and celebrating the 350th anniversary of Newcastle County, Delaware. Whereas on September 12, 1673, a critical juncture in the rich tapestry of history unfolded with the Dutch establishment of New Amstel, a foundation stone in the development of what would become present-day Newcastle County, a region with a storied history shaped by the hands of various settlers, including the Dutch, the Swedish, and the English. And whereas the initial seeds of this region were sown in 1638, with the vision and bravery of Peter Minuet leading an expedition aboard the Kalmar Nickel, leading to the first permanent settlement on Delaware soil, Fort Christiana, laying the groundwork for the Wilmington we know today, a testimony to the spirit of discovery and collaboration with the Lenape Native Americans. And whereas this territory bore witness to a complex interchange of cultures and disputes, notably between the Dutch and the Swedes, who both aspired to mark the territory and establish colonies, resulting in the dynamic exchange of powers, including significant figures such as Queen Christiana of Sweden, Peter Stuyvesant, the governor of New Netherland, and whereas through tumultuous times, a series of events saw the shifting sands of control, with Fort Cashmere at the contemporary Newcastle, evolving through captures, surrenders, and reestablishments, bringing into existence New Amstel under Peter Paul Jackwood's leadership, standing tall as a symbol of changing times and evolving boundaries. And whereas this period marked a significant moment in the annals of history, with the involvement of international forces, including the English crown, seen with the granting of this land to the Duke of York, James by King Charles II in 1664, establishing a bridge to the modern era and connecting us to the global history stage. And whereas Newcastle County was graced with the establishment of firm borders through critical delineations, such as the establishment of a court in Newcastle in September 1673. They are drawn in 1681 to delineate the northern border, and the finality of the western border defined by King James II in 1685, shaping the geographical narrative of the county. And whereas in its developmental journey, Newcastle County became part of the vital structural shift in 1682, under William Penn's governance, sowing the seeds for the birth of the colony of Delaware, a land of prosperity and development, a testimony to the strength of community, harmony, and innovation. And whereas, now standing as the most populous county in Delaware, embodying nearly 60% of the state's population according to the 2020 census. New Castle County is a beacon of economic development, a nexus of historical convergence, a place of rich cultural inheritance, governed from the county seat in Wilmington, the state's most populous city. And whereas this county, named after William Cavendish, 1st Duke of Newcastle, encapsulates the spirit of perseverance, survival, and growth through centuries, proudly bearing a rich history while ushering in modernity with promising future, presenting an intertwined story of diverse cultures and historic figures shaping its path. And whereas it is pertinent to recall the past, the journeys, the stories, and the lives that have coursed through the veins of this county, nurturing it, fighting for it, building it as we come together to celebrate 350 years of New Castle County, a milestone that speaks of the enduring spirit of humanity in its quest for community, stability, and prosperity. And whereas this anniversary embodies more than a date in history, it stands as a symbol of the indomitable spirit of New Castle County, a place that has nurtured dreams, fostered communities, and stood tall, resilient through 350 years of history, carving out a space that we proudly call home here today. Now, therefore, be it resolved that New Castle County Council hereby recognizes September 12, 2023 as the 350th anniversary of the founding of New Castle County and encourages all residents to join in celebrating the rich history, the vibrant culture, and the enduring spirit of New Castle County, Delaware. Thank you. Thank you. And you'll be coming up and taking over? Is there some? Yeah. Okay. And I am going to try to get across the grass without sinking in.
All right, everyone, if you want to come up behind the table, we're going to do a ceremonial 350th cutting of the cake. 3, 2, 1.
Take that, King George.